Welcome back to Wordy and Nerdy. I hope you're doing well. On January 13, Ezra Miller, the star of the upcoming Flash movie, will be facing a slew of charges and a possible 26-year prison sentence. This trial will decide the fate of their entire career and the fate of a movie that has been in production hell for 9 years. How did we get here? Today, Wordy and Nerdy will be answering this question, so come join us as we dive into this rabbit hole.
Actor Ezra Miller has been arrested again in Hawaii, this time for second-degree assault.
Tonight, new charges just released against Hollywood star Ezra Miller. According to a police report released Monday, the Flash star was charged with felony burglary for allegedly going into a Vermont home and stealing several bottles of alcohol.
Let's talk about Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller harassed multiple people internationally. Ezra Miller is still on the run from authorities. More victims have stepped forward to share disturbing encounters with the actor.
Let's travel back to September 30th, 1992. Ezra Miller was born in New Jersey. Ezra lived with his mother. His mother was a professional dancer with an estimated net worth of $1 million. Ezra's father is a vice president of a successful book studio that worked with the former Disney CEO at the time. With all the great success and amazing connection to many Hollywood studios, it's no surprise Ezra Miller became a movie star. So if you want to become a movie star, it's quite simple. Just be born into the top 1% and make sure your parents have connection to major Hollywood studios at the time. It's that simple.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
Shut the fuck up!
With all the amazing connections, Ezra Miller found their first movie called After School. Let us take a quick read of the plot and see how the movie ends. The movie is about an internet video obsessed teenager named Robert, played by Ezra. Robert catches a twin sister dying due to drugs contaminated with rat poison. Instead of calling for help, Robert sits on the floor with them and watches them die. Robert is accused of murder, and near the end of the movie, it's shown that Robert pressed his hands over her mouth and smothered her to death. The movie was a success and launched Ezra's indie career. However, it also led Ezra to be typecast as an awkward, weird indie person. For example, the next movie Ezra starred in was City Island. Here's a quick clip from the movie.
Okay, Vivian, I've got to ask you, are your breasts continuing to grow?
What, Vince?
What? Does have a point there, sweetie. I mean, do seem to be getting a little larger in that area.
Nice, Dad.
What is wrong with you people?
You can say that again. The biggest success for the actor was the movie called The Perks of Being a Wallflower, where again, Ezra played a weird, unpopular high schooler. This movie was based on a best-selling young adult novel. The movie was released in 2012, when a movie based on a young adult book was like Marvel movies. Just in that year alone, the movie Hunger Games and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 were released. The movie was a box office success and became a cult classic and was nominated for 2 Critical Choice Movie Awards. After that success, Warner Bros. Noticed Ezra and gave them the role as the Flash. Even with this success, Ezra was still a weird actor, making weird-ass statements, like their statement about the KKK. One of their weird actions that aged like fine milk was launching their own NFT crypto art.
I got assaulted in this bar twice in a row. I film myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art.
Whoa. This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
Most of the time when Ezra does something like this, Warner Brothers either doesn't respond or acts like it's completely normal. That was because they were too busy trying to launch a movie called The Flash, a movie that faced no production problems at all. I hope you guys are ready, because this is when things get crazy. In 2014, DC wanted to show the world that they could just be like Marvel, so they announced their first phase of the DC Universe. DC fans were hyped. There it was, The Flash, scheduled to premiere in 2018, written and directed by Lord and Miller, the creator of the 21 Jump Street and the Lego Movie franchise. Things were looking bright for DC. Then, Batman v Superman was released.
And that stupid thing is as dumb as it looked in the trailer.
But he doesn't, get r***ed in prison. That could happen in my movie.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm not entirely sure what happened.
After the reviews came out, the studio began panicking and made a lot of stupid decisions. Let's have a trailer house company edit our upcoming movie and screw over our director. I'm sure that's going to work out.
Oh my God.
Lord and Miller quickly realized the studio was a shit show and left the movie to make Solo, a Star Wars story. So yeah, Lord and Miller and Warner Brothers both made some mistakes. This led to an amazing cycle where many directors entered to direct the movie, then quickly left. Seth Grahame-Smith, the dude who made Abraham Lincoln the Vampire Hunter, came in and left a year later. Rick, the director who made Dope, came in to direct the movie and then quickly left due to creative differences. This led to a studio acting desperate and knocking on every director's door, begging them to take the movie. Here's a list of directors who said they would direct the movie and then quickly left the next day. So saying the movie was experiencing some problems is a little bit of an understatement. It was a complete shit show. To fix the shit show, Warner Brothers started throwing any idea that would stick on the wall. Let's make it into a buddy cop movie where the Flash and Cyborg go on a little adventure to save the world. That didn't happen because Joss Whedon turned out to be a racist and made Ray Fisher's life a living hell.
Love black culture.
Stop. You gotta stop running around saying shit like that.
Let's make it into a Flashpoint movie. We will make Ezra Miller write a new version of the film. 2 seconds later, they realize maybe allowing Ezra Miller full control of a script, someone who has never written a script in the day of their life, is not the best idea.
Well, duh.
Finally, they came to hopefully a final decision about the movie. Let's have Christina, a writer who wrote the Bumblebee movies and Birds of Prey, to write the script. We'll also have Michael Keaton reprise his role because nostalgia sells. We'll also have Andy, who directed the It movies, to direct the movie. All these production problems and COVID-19 caused the movie to reach a budget of $200 million, and it caused the movie to be delayed to June 23rd, 2023. Only a 5-year delay, not a big deal. Now we have a movie that costs a shit ton. A studio that will not give on it despite how many directors have left due to creative differences. But don't worry, according to Warner Brothers, The Flash is the best DC movie ever. Yes, the same studio who gave Batman v Superman a standing ovation. The studio is 100% trustworthy. Hopefully no other problems happen to this movie, right? It's not like the main star is causing a bunch of issues that is completely ruining the reputation of this movie, right? Our story starts in 2020, the beginning of COVID-19. During that time, most normal people spent their time trapped in their house, playing way too much Animal Crossing. Instead, Ezra Miller decided to use their free time to gain a god complex. Multiple sources say the actor verbally and emotionally abused anyone around them and referred to themselves as Jesus and the devil. Like all actors who believe they are Jesus, they start a cult. Don't worry, Ezra. Starting a cult and believing you are Jesus is a common thing in the DC universe. To start their cult-like behavior, they would take up residence in Vermont, where they invited people to join them. Miller reportedly paid for food, weed, and held speeches about Jesus and whatever they wanted to talk about at the time. One of the spiritual powers he had over the people he invited was having an altar that was covered with bullets, weed, sage, and Flash figurines. A longtime friend of Ezra said any woman that would visit them would have to put their cell phones on the altar. If you didn't praise the Flash figurine because you're a normal person, the actor would freak out and emotionally abuse you, demanding you pay tribute to the Flash figurine. Let's talk about their emotional abuse. One of their emotional abuse is weaponizing their gender identity in certain situations. According to Variety, if you piss off Ezra, you have now been labeled as a transphobic Nazi. So not accepting any fault is a common thing for most Hollywood actors. Sounds like a mess could happen at any moment. One of their messes included choking. On April 1st, 2020, Ezra visited a local bar in Iceland for a drink. Like most Hollywood actors, Ezra didn't know their limits and proceeded to get super fucked up. A source at the bar said a drunk Miller would come up to a woman and say, "Oh, you want to fight? That's what you want to do?" Then Ezra grabbed the woman by the throat, threw her to the ground. The situation ended with the bar staff escorting Miller from the premises and the police not looking any further into the situation. A video leaked on Twitter on April 6th showing the whole entire situation. The video was quickly deleted from Twitter. Later that same month, Miller rented parts of a hotel in northern Iceland to record music with local musicians. During their 6-month stay at the hotel, Miller was in a sexual relationship with a 18-year-old woman. She told Business Insider Ezra was super manipulating. "They kind of had us all round their finger," she said, describing several verbal allegations. "They were able to twist and pull everything that I thought I knew about the world."
That is one big pile of shit.
How did Warner Brothers respond to this situation? By doing absolutely nothing and ignoring the situation. They were too busy launching their brand new streaming service and screwing over directors by releasing their movies directly on HBO Max. So the studio was a shit show, and they did not want to worry about the Ezra Miller situation at the time. During the high of COVID-19, Ezra Miller decided to take their cult-like behavior down the road. This involved the actor going on benders for 2 or 3 days at a time. During these benders, Ezra went to raves where they would offer young, naive kids to join their band and promise them all types of things. Some of these naive kids were homeless at the time. Ezra would promise them the world and say they were able to fix everything. But nothing actually seemed to materialize from this situation. One of these kids was a young woman named Iron Eyes. She came from a Native American family. According to Rolling Stone, Iron Eyes and Ezra met around 2016. Iron Eyes was 12 at the time, and like other naive kids, Ezra would promise them the world. During that time from 2016 to 2022, the actor has successfully mind-controlled the young, naive girl, and the pair was constantly seen together. According to one person close to Ezra, Ezra is like Jesus, and Iron Eyes is the Native American spider goddess, and their union is supposed to bring about the apocalypse. And that's the real reason why everyone is so opposed of them.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Iron Eyes would stay with Ezra Miller at their farmhouse. According to multiple sources, the farmhouse was a complete shit show. Ezra would smoke marijuana and then go on hikes where they would carry a bow and arrow. One time, 2 friends of Ezra would check on Miller, and they would find Ezra passed out on the floor from one of their benders, where a bow and arrow was laid on the table, ready to be fired to anyone that walks into the front door. You might be wondering, why a bow and arrow? That was the one thing Ezra could get their hands on. Ezra's friends and other people around the house had taken all their guns and locked them away because Ezra tends to freak out. Ezra is a big fan of using guns in stupid ways. One source claims a person saw Ezra burning sage out of a barrel of an AR-15. The actor did not care about anyone's safety or their own. To prove that point, they encouraged friends to give them a passcode for the safe where they would restock all their weapons. It gets a lot worse. Iron Eyes was not the only person staying with Ezra at the time. There was a 25-year-old woman with 3 children, around the ages of 1 to 5, where they were living with Ezra. Ezra, using their big brain, would just lay weapons and bullets across the house. One source alleged that 1-year-old would play with the loose bullets and sometimes put it in her mouth. 2 friends luckily came to visit Ezra again and got the 25-year-old woman and her children out of the situation by calling the woman's dad. The dad picked her up from the house. He did not confront Miller or go to the police about the situation. A quote from Rolling Stone from the dad about why he did not go to the police: "It's been too traumatic enough." After this situation, Ezra Miller decided Ironhides and Thumb would take a vacation in Hawaii and let the whole situation blow off. Ezra and Ironhides would reportedly live like drifters, sleeping in tents on top of volcanoes. Ezra acting like her adopted guardian and would take her phone, money, underwear, socks, and even shelter. One time, Ezra Miller and Ironhides would visit a karaoke bar. A woman got up on stage and started to sing. Somehow, this one song triggered Ezra Miller so much they would start yelling at the woman, and then later grab the microphone from the woman. Not only did they assault the woman to get the microphone, they would assault any random person in the way, including a random man playing darts. Bond and Order tried their best to get control of the situation, but the owner had no luck and decided to call the police. The cops showed up at the bar, arrested Ezra Miller. A video was released on TMZ showing the whole situation. A $500 bail was paid by a random couple to get Ezra out of jail. Ezra was staying with the random couple at the time. Ezra decided to show their gratitude and decided to return to the couple and proceeded to threaten the couple by saying, "I will bury you and your slut wife." The couple later alleged that Miller also stole their wife's passport and the husband's wallets, which contained several credit cards, a social security card, a driver's license. It's still unclear whether these items were returned to the couple. The couple completely filed a restraining order against the actor and quickly got away from the actor. Ezra was not done with the why. Ezra Miller, not learning a damn thing from the situation, decided to visit a private party where they proceed to get super fucked up and threw a chair at a 26-year-old woman. The chair throw gave the woman a half-inch cut on her forehead. Miller ran away from the situation. Miller was later stopped at a traffic stop and arrested around 1:30 a.m. The cops again, for some reason, let Ezra go, and it was released later that same day. Investigation of the situation is still pending. Iron Eye's parents, after hearing about the whole situation, went to a judge and request a protective order, which says Miller cannot contact the child or be within 100 yards of their residence. The judge signed the request and requests Ezra appear in court on July 12th, 2022. Ezra decided to become a real-life Flash and decided to run away with Ironhides and did not appear in court. According to the Los Angeles Times, Ironhide's dad said they move around so much that we're stuck in a legal limbo where we can't serve them in any place because they're not there long enough. Another quote from Iron Eye's dad, where he expressed Iron Eye needs help without Ezra's interference. Ezra is a 29-year-old person who needs to get their own help and walk their own path, and not interfere with Iron Eye's development as their own person. Iron Eye's parents were clearly concerned about their daughter's safety and tried everything to get her back. Miller thought this whole situation was a joke and sadly influenced Iron Eyes to make a post on Instagram. The post accused their parents of being transphobic and denied the allegations. Ezra, being a wonderful person, decided to make a few posts. These posts include a bunch of memes mocking legal officials and parents saying they would never catch them. The posts included posts like, "You can't touch me, I'm in another universe," and a message from another dimension.
Oh no, Gringe!
Ezra would go on one more bender where they would break into a neighbor's home and steal several bottles of alcohol. Luckily, the neighbor had a security system and caught the whole situation on camera. He showed the video to the cops, and a court order was sent to Ezra. Now that there is video proof, Warner Brothers stopped ignoring the allegations for 2 years and forced Ezra to make a statement about everything. Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I'm suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to healthy and productive stage in my life. Sounds like a horrible YouTube apology. The CEO, David Zaslav, came out. The Flash movie is moving forward with a release date of June 23rd, 2023. He promised shareholders that this is the best DC movie ever and will make lots of money when it's released. Somehow the shareholders believed him, and reshoots were filmed later that August. Ezra Miller appeared virtually in court alongside their lawyer and pleaded not guilty to all charges. The court date is scheduled for January 13th. What a freaking mess. And now we all wait to see if Ezra is accused to be guilty.
I'm going to jail!
In this part of the video, I would like to make a prediction of what's going to happen in court. Warner Brothers, for some reason, really believe in this movie. I believe it's going to fix everything with the DC universe. So they're going to send their best lawyer. Sadly for them, Saul Goodman is not a real person. Whoever they're going to send has their work cut out for them. I don't know how you spin grooming allegations and burglary charges in a positive light, but they're going to find a way because Warner Brothers is going to pay them a lot of money. I hope Ezra Miller loses in the court trial and faces prison time, but sadly, I really think this whole situation is going to somehow be blown into Ezra's favor, and somehow Ezra will win this situation, and Warner Brothers will later on release the Flash movie. Once the Flash movie is released, Warner Brothers will quickly get rid of the actor, and the whole DC universe will be completely changed, and Ezra Miller's problem will not be their problem anymore. Let me offer some advice to Ezra. Grow the fuck up and deal with your issues. If not now, the truth will eventually catch up to you. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video and informed you about the whole situation. I know this is a completely different type of video I have ever made, so please like and subscribe and tell me if you actually like this video. Either way, I thank you for watching it, and I will see you next time. Bye.